Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So today, we're going to talk about Donald Trump, um, Trump special announcement, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you learn something from it. Um, I don't know how true this is, but I just got wind that AI have developed a new type of physics. Now, by golly, if that's what they're looking for, a new type of sciences that will bring us to a magical type of science, we're already at low end magic. We're at low end magic type of science. Like, how jellyfish can change their color and different things can happen, but we're almost at that point, with science. Magnets can't, stick together, you know, um, and chemistry, we just put a new element into the system like a couple of years back. I forgot the element, but like I said, his name always doesn't ring a bell to me. Give me a second. I have to give him a special shout out. I it would be Bill Snyder is one of them, and one other person. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience, and I want to give him a special shout out. Um, Bob Lazar. His name, as many times as I have said it, it's like it is a secret code in my brain that don't I have to literally see his name in order to remember his name. That is so weird. I can remember a lot of people names, and I forget people names too, but I can never remember Bob Lazar for some reason. And so they're talking about AI creates new physics, and you know, based on, I don't want to get into too deep into it. Let's talk about what Donald Trump um is talking about, because you know somebody on Rumble right now, let me show you what they put so far, and then I'll move on as a timestamp. It says four alien species revealed by congressman, and AI creates new physics. He have a lot of people, so he probably, let's see. Four alien species has been revealed by a congressman, and artificial intelligence created new physics. You know what that means for people? And just imagine science is like four different generation of science. No, no, it takes so long to develop science. So many people have to study it, and it has to be correlated, but between math and correlation, like statistics, hypothesis and everything. So just think, if we had AI can create four different sciences from the future, that's like over 2 centuries, 200 years, if not longer, worth of work that we're cutting down in half to create stuff. That is damn good. Let's listen to Trump. Imagine no crime in DC. In DC, can it be pulled off? And I guess the statistics pull it off. The statistics pull it off. It is no crime. I am so proud that my home, District of Columbia is, you know, doing good. I hope that it continues to do good.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I gotta tell y'all something. This is something that is very, very important. Very important. Hold on. Okay. So there is a app called Autopilot that you can get into that actually you sign up for it, and but you have to have uh money to invest, but you can still look for those who don't have $100,000 like me. You can still look at the trades that these politicians make. For instance, Nancy Pelosi, you can see Nancy, type in their name and see what stocks Nancy Pelosi makes. It actually is valid. It was on Fox News, and the young whippersnapper behind it is Asian. I think he's Japanese or some sort of Asian, and he explained the whole thing. You know, if you want to track what Nancy Pelosi stocks is looking like, what she is in, then you can do it. And that shows, you know, that brings people to more, you know, legit stocks versus getting a stock and it crashed. But he just said that the stock market has went up. This was 5 hours ago by 1,000 points. Um, so I don't know.
Thank you, President. Great to be here with you today. As what you said, see that. Sure. Then, if I may, most of now, example, supposedly we could. Can you imagine do this and then you start hearing 20-year reduction of oil? It's worse to the Biden administration than anybody's ever imagined. But then we get into the border. You know, and this 90 days, can you go zero? Last minute, it's a bit of it's six. So where is that? It's where is that?
Seems like you're doing the United States of America to bring this.
I would say one thing.
Capital, greatest thing. We had first grades. Which is very, very. I don't think it's I don't think allowed to happen. Allowed to happen because we had collegiate leadership in Washington D.C. Have the have six. That,
And this would be very the
The first thing, the 45.
Says, like, Karen, I need to enjoy this. Well, there's, you're reminding me of something that. Just like, look like you respect yourself and finding how to respect you. Able to invite next year and have excited about it. It's not.
One cup, two cups will take 3 years from that. We'll take this out. Take this into it's a big part of the 10 days. July 19th. Thank you. We got to do different. It's not we call it. Somebody told us that here. You know, they're gonna have a very.
Yeah, absolutely. We have processed that up. It will be.
He's removing his church. He's removing his retaliatory church. I like them.
Mr. President, I have a question about the search. Supply documents that have requested for a server.
Figure it out. You think you have to take the jack,
Mr. President,
Yep. Every permit, the hardest permit is the federal permit. Within 20 days, every single permit. People are ready. I don't get
I have to repeat that. If y'all did not hear that, he said he's a competent guy. He said he's a competent guy with a lot of bullshit. Yeah, hold on. So you guys that are on TikTok right now, I don't want it once the journalists start asking questions, he goes on, and I don't want the wrong thing to be said and then TikTok blame me, you know. I wish there was a way we can get this censoring off a TikTok, you know. If you want, can you follow me at the Kimberly Cloud Show 39? Because even they quote the president as saying misinformation, disinformation. You know it's bad with TikTok when TikTok quotes the president, not me, the president for giving this. Like, please sell it to somebody, change the rules, or however, change the settings in it so people can have freedom of speech. Please, sir. So follow me at the Kimberly Cloud Show 39. Thank you. So now they're talking about putting low income housing by where the fires happen, if I'm correct, in Cali. The people want to build their houses, but they cannot get permits from the mayor or governor. I bet you one thing, though, that's a fact. You can fact check this, YouTube. I bet you the governor and the mayor house isn't nowhere near the area of the fires. And what I mean by that is they're in a green zone where if there was a fire, it would not even ambush them. It would not even ambush them. But now they're making it hard for those who wants to get permits. Only in the state of California.
To expand actions. Yeah. He said it's like I,
Now there is a drought in Washington, D.C. Supposedly. I'm optimistic. I believe what Donald Trump is saying because I believe everything that he said for the past 4, 5 years, maybe. Um, I feel like this is a drought. It's a drought. Um, you should not be selling drugs. You should get a job. You should not be kidnapping. You should not be raping. You should not be assaulting people. You know, I made a mistake. I was it's a long story. I don't want to get into it, but you should not be doing these things repeatedly. repeatedly. Just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over. Like that makes DC unsafe for people who want to come visit to visit, who want to come to visit and um see this beautiful District of Columbia for what it is. You know, like I really feel like my hometown is the most beautiful. It's it's a beauty. It's a beauty. If you haven't been to DC, please visit. Please visit because it has beautiful attractions, and that is the home of every president. So yeah. That's what I don't get. Who would benefit from the war? We know that it is not going to benefit for a Republican to bring on a war. They want to stop. They want it to be peaceful. And now I'm sorry, it's just blowing my mind because I'm starting to think, like what is going on? Like, who is really behind this whole war then? Who would benefit? You have beneficial things that Vladimir can get, and you have beneficial things that Vladimir can get. Zelensky. Um, it is very scary. He would be president if the war continues, and Vladimir would get land. Vladimir would get land, and Vladimir would he would basically be president because as long as the war ensues, there's no voting. Those are two things that they would have to gain. Now, I know they never speak on the phone, and well, I don't know that, but they never speak. I know that they never speak. They hardly even try to speak to each other. But these teenagers and children are being kidnapped. Teenagers are dying. Soldiers are dying. You know, more more suffering because now the people who died isn't going to know that Trump could have been the mediator behind the whole thing. And it's just I'm coming up with situations that could possibly be. I'm not saying that it is, but I try to think logically. The people that are dying aren't going to know about Trump because they're dying. They're not going to know the history behind who actually stopped the war, if the war stops. They'll let's say the war stopped, then these people would be researching Trump. Everybody knows about Trump. Trump is worldwide. And I'm not saying that that's not disinformation. What I'm saying is, you know, if there's multiple reasons, there could be multiple reasons, like um there's a lot of reasons. I know that sounds kind of different, but I want y'all to know that Putin, he does stuff strategically. He's KGB. He thinks very strategically. He thinks numerically. He thinks strategically. He thinks statistically. He thinks probably scientifically. Obviously he got missiles. You know, he thinks on multiple levels, and I just wish that there could be multiple reasons why. You can say it's not about, let's just take Trump out of the equation for a second. you know um as soon as Biden got into office, the depopulation started, where people started dying. The war ensued on 2/24/2022. So, you know, why? I would care about my men dying if I was Russia. I would care about my men dying. That's more people for that's less people for my country, which means less people to fight a war against. But it has to be a reason for Ukraine, for the invasion of Ukraine, other than just Trump. But it's like, I if I was Russia, I would be um talking to people like Obama and people like Hillary. I would be talking to people like that, because Trump is trying to keep the war from happening. And it's just weird how, you know, they picked Russia as a Russia hoax. They picked Russia hoax, the Russia hoax. And um you just never know, man. You just never know. If I was Russia, I would not. I would literally smile in the Mr. President's face, and straight do other things. Obviously, it's showing, do other things. I wouldn't do it, but if I was um Putin, I would do it because I have something to lose, which is land. I have something to lose, which is land. And I have something to lose, the credibility, when these depopulation things, possible, I'm not saying it is, but possible genocide happens, it is so that people won't carry history with them. And, you know, the Wuhan laboratories, there were like 30 or 40 American. I don't even want to get into it. Because if I go too deep, YouTube may shut down. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'll say that just think about what Putin has to gain and think about what Zelensky has to gain, even though they never seem to want to communicate with each other. You know, have you ever been played before where you have a boyfriend and a friend, and they never talk to each other, but you can tell something is a little off maybe, and they may be sleeping together, you know, and you know, I don't know. It just, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but they never talk uh, to each other. They pretend like they don't even like each other. Oh, that's your boyfriend? I can't stand him. What, you know, and you're telling him your inner darkest secrets, you know, like I'm telling him my inner darkest secrets, and he's taking that back to the girlfriend. And how do the Democrats benefit? How do the Democrats? I'm not trying to shun the Democrats. The Democrats isn't a stigma or a negative thing because there are some good Democrats. But what do the Democrats, the bad ones, I'm not going to shout out any names, but the bad ones have to gain from this war? It'll look like President Trump is lying. It'll look like President Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. He may be a little incompetent or whatever. They may try to, you know, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, you know how they do. And you know, you never know, which means that, you have to think about things from all angles. You know, I'm not saying that this is just my opinion of the situation. You know, I'm just giving examples of the situation, but you never know. You know, I may not have super intelligence or know a whole bunch of stuff, but I have common sense. I watch things from a distance. I see things going on, and I can practically predict things based on how people are acting, their behaviors. His behaviors is saying he does not want to stop the war. His behaviors, he, on the 21st, which was yesterday, he sat up there and he bombed Ukraine again. So they're going to keep saying, I'll stop war, Trump. And then or he's not going to stop the war, or I don't want to give up that much land. One day they're going to have to get into the ring and sit it out, duke it out by sitting it out and actually using critical thinking. One day they're going to have to do that, one day. But I believe that this war is going to go on, or is going to try to extend, unless Trump don't do something. And I know, and like he said, as he learned, it's going to extend past, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going until he gets what he wants, or taking it slowly, or however he's doing it. But it, yeah.
Is there a real possibility that we do nothing? Your Justice Department is also sending some of the MC members.
That's one thing, like a iris of an eye or a thumbprint, that one person has to be actually trained very well or very psychotic, is behavior. Behavior is like a thumbprint or an eye print or listening. Like it's embedded. Like not listening, that was terrible. Or eyes, and everything else, like it's like a thumbprint. And I truly feel like, um let's continue. Hold on. Like I said, behavior, sorry, lost my train of thought because I was thirsty. Behavior is like a thumbprint or eye print. You cannot, unless you're trained like the CIA to do so, to change your behavior. You cannot change your behavior. Certain triggers will bring that behavior out unless you really don't want that behavior. And that is something that's why all of these politicians remain calm, and they learn how not to show their behavior unless they get a trigger, like poke the bear, they get really mad, you know. Uh, but behavior is like a thumbprint or iris. Yeah, it really is. You can't, and unless you are aware that you can change the behavior, you won't know that you're still performing in that way. And people like me that done been around bad behaviors, you know, or certain things, know what bad behavior look like. And I can tell that bad behavior isn't a welcoming thing to me. It's not a welcoming thing to me. I hate it, the way, like my environment. I hated my environment because I had to grow up in that environment. It's not like I chose to grow up in that environment, but I watched. I just sat up there and I observed. I observed, I observed, I observed. And for some reason, I knew right from wrong. I made mistakes, but I knew right from wrong. And I never veered off, and it made me mad. I was so mature at a young age, and I don't know. I was very mature, but the environment around me, you get bad habits, and you know, um, the music we listened to growing up off of, it's embedded in your subconscious, well, your unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind. You know, I truly feel like our behaviors are our identity, and that's why it can be changed. That for all those people who want to change it, it can be changed, but they have triggers. Like for instance, let's say I'm at a grocery store and somebody say, "Forget your mother, Nadine Brown." That could be that could be. I wouldn't get mad. I would actually laugh. But I would be like, oh my God, like a typical maybe 20-year-old me will probably start cursing, you know. But a 41-year-old me who have put so many file cabinets in her brain for change and try to repetition that and use that would laugh at the process, especially not being on any drugs. So yes, behavior um, is is a thumbprint, and it can be changed. It can be changed.
So, it's no one stop.
One is the income, your other is to consider payments.
Before we get off of here, we're going to take a trip to the Yahoo Finance. I want to show y'all something, what I've learned, which is going to take all of 2 minutes, maybe a 1 minute read. So at the brink of everything that I saw that's out there. We would have been like a third world. We were like a third world country, a poor third world country. Just imagine we made contact with a planet, but we are observing a planet that is 500, maybe 300. And that's how some countries are today. Maybe two, or I don't want to get, in some ways, maybe a century behind us in different countries. Like, and what I mean by that, in some certain places, certain countries are like that. And like, so you got different, let's just say it's a different planet that we made contact with, that we observed, and it's like 300 years below us. We are like behind us, 3 centuries behind us. So it's not smart. We advanced it by 300 years. We would sit up there and negotiate, or probably come there and say, take me to your leader or something, and or however the case may be. I don't know. I don't even know what got me on this subject, but what I do know is that, there's different countries that are like, almost a century behind us. So yeah, you got Africa, no light posts, no technology. You know, they have no electric like us. They have no electric like us, and they don't have housing like us. They have electric in the cities, but in rural areas, like where we go in rural areas, um, we have electric everywhere except if it's off the grid area, you know. But yeah, so now we're bringing more technology. Just think if Biden had still been in office for another 8 years, did an 8 year term, or something happened, we would be behind by China and Russia. And this is why, like I said, I get back to it. Russia have something to gain. Everybody wants to be number one, and men get jealous just like women, or not. Let me not say jealous. Let's just say competitive, and maybe a little smear here. They sometimes they're human. They're allowed to. And so you got men that compete, and if they're not number one in something, they compete for that number one spot. Do you think for a second that Russia want to be number three, or number two? Do you think China want to be number two or number three? Do you think they want to be? We always are number one. And when Biden was in office, we were like fourth. We were like six or seven in the line. He took away the technology to do cars. He took away the technology to build cars. And think what that would have done for our country in the long run with a Democrat like him in office. We would have been behind while China is advancing. China has a lot of stuff that from what I've realized, I'm kind of glad the United States have top secret and classified stuff, because China is boasting a lot. I see it all the time. I see it on um, the Facebook screen about, like, when I'm looking at my Facebook scrolling up, like I see China has advanced with this technology. China has advanced with that technology. And you know what I say? I say, China may have advanced, but America isn't saying anything. Because if America was saying stuff like, America came out with this, we only say certain amount of stuff, like a little bit of things. Like we're top secret and classified about what we say, especially the government. If we kept saying, oh, because China can, they said a robot can have a child or something. I don't know what was said, but I was like, wow, it comes on my feed all the time about China advanced with this, China advanced with that. China has a lot of advancements coming, y'all. And just like, I'll give you one example, the mirror cloak, the thing I was talking about in 2022. I know China probably been had it, but I was talking about it way before I knew what China had. And I was talking about something that is a material of a mirror, but uh the material of a blanket, a light blanket, a very thin sheath blanket, you know, with a mirror film embedded in it, and that will reflect um and become invisible to the naked eye. But they got advanced stuff like a whole bodysuit, or just one, like they're going to start putting it in windows like 20 years from now, where you can't see in, because they already got it in windows probably for the rich, but they have like mirror windows where it deflects and you can't really see. That's not really the mirror thing, but they have the military, our military, we don't tell much. We have like an invisible type cloak that we use for sniping. And yeah.
It walked in. Yes.
Like, sure, okay. Today, so, you know, success in that, see.
Up to that. I didn't be careful with that walk.
Thank you.
Okay, so I sat up there and I spoke about Donald Trump, and I hope that you enjoyed the show. Um, I want y'all to know that I appreciate y'all. Y'all could have been anywhere, but you here right now with me, and I appreciate that. Um, Tomorrow, let's see. I want to tell y'all. Oh yeah, stock market. What I've learned. We're going to look at the stock market. And something that Miss Shannon Curtis told me about called Ambio for veterans. So let me look this up real quick. Hold on. Oh my God, Yahoo Finance. Yay. I get on here and I'll be looking at their what their news, what they be saying. If you're just tuning in, I ran across something that talked about AI coming out with a new physics. So you can look that up. So I'm on there now. I got it in dark mode. Oh yeah. So something oh Starbucks to cut production at USA coffee plants. Stock soar as Powell reignites rate cut fever. Let's read that. And then we're going to read Meta partners with Midjourney to license AI tech for future products. Gold is up by 35.60 points, 1.505%. I don't think I can watch this without getting in trouble. It may be a copyright match. So I don't want to get on here and start showing stuff like this and, you know, extending floats, extending TikTok. Trump floats extending TikTok ban as you what? Oh, Trump floats extending TikTok ban as hunt for U.S. buyer continue. Sorry. Um, what else? Meta partners with Mid Journey to license AI tech for future products. Tesla leads mega cap tech stock rally after Powell points to possible rate cut. If y'all don't know, follow my mouse. Uh this is the actual code. I don't know what they call it. I'm not that savvy. I'm a beginner. That's the code for Tesla that you put in when you're buying stock, which is TSLA. Nvidia's NVDA, Meta's META. Not all of them rhymes with the company. Some of them got lucky with their um, codes, their quote, whatever. Portfolios. I have no portfolio. I have no money. Let's see. Healthcare is going for oh, oh, that's pretty cool. Stocks slightly to outperform over time, chosen by Stock Story and Motley Fool. Let's see what he says. That's pretty cool. Now, I can never go there. I can never go here, but I will say that I believe in this. When they get a clinic over here on, in our country, I hope that that they can get this to like in our country. I hope that they can get this in our country. This is in Mexico, Tijuana, Mexico. But let me tell you about it, because Shannon Curtis was telling me about it. These are the people. So let let's look at this. I cannot wait for them to get it over here. I doubt it, but they're in the makes of some type of other chemical for soldiers, or not soldiers but veterans. I wouldn't use that. I'm curious about this, so let's see together what's it about. Now, Navy SEALs, Navy SEALs have actually, oh, they about to say it. Navy SEALs have actually, and soldiers, veterans have, not soldiers, but veterans, not soldiers, but veterans have tried this for drug addiction and other um, issues. So let's see what they're talking about. So if you suffer from like mental health or um, drug addiction, such as taking possibly on antidepressants, on pain medication, um, maybe have depression, like they she was telling me how this program in Tijuana, um, it is a great program that they give you some type of mushroom, or I don't know what kind of, it's not a mushroom, but it's not, I don't even think it's legal in the United States, but a lot of people from um North America, United States, go to there that are veterans that want the help that they can get, and it's a clinic, and I don't know, I hope that y'all know that I'm promoting it because I read about it briefly, and I can actually tell you holistic psychedelic assistant treatment for substance use, trauma, traumatic brain injury, chronic pain, and neurodegenerative disorders. Their program is designed to assist individuals through some of life's most challenging transitions and to overcome long-standing obstacles. The cost starts at $7,850 for a one-week group psycho-spiritual retreats and based on individual need and length of stay. It is DMT. It could be DMT. Um, Psychiatrists use DMT, but they study in DMT, and that's why that is intrigues me, because DMT is a drug that helps heal. It's a healing factor, and it has healing properties. That's why all these scientists go down to Mexico to look for psychedelics or different mushrooms or different name plants, because they want to find out what it does over long term as far as healing, and um, it it intrigues me because I feel like, under the practice of a medical professional, under the practice of a doctor, you know, that it it would benefit some people. I'm not saying this because I want to be on a psychedelic. I'm saying this because scientists, as we speak, are down testing different, you know, plants and mushrooms and stuff to help to bring it back up to the America, and make something. Like, for instance, they are testing, um I forgot the drug name, but it's horse tranquilizer. It's not horse tranquilizer, it's horse something. It's something where the military is testing it out, studying it right now. They're studying it for individuals who do cognitive behavior therapy. They're I don't even know the drug, but it scares me and I don't want to try it. You know, one drug, not a drug, but one thing I would try, um, that would possibly help, is different frequencies. And it has helped me, actually, listening to different frequencies and sounds and different things, that has helped me tremendously. I have I don't you know, the scars, I call them scars, they still sometimes resurface, but I just throw some cocoa butter on it, and I continue to push on. You know, I don't have time to feel um, depressed. I don't have time to think about a symptom. When you have idle time and you're drifting, then you begin to do that. When you keep yourself busy and you continue to keep yourself busy, you don't become as depressed, or you don't become depressed no more, and then you heal yourself by, this is what's to help me listening. I listen to music at night, like binaural beats, anything. It's all out there on YouTube, and I really feel like binaural beats, the 369 frequency, different frequencies help. And I stopped listening to them for a while. And it kind of like messes, like it doesn't mess with my mind. I am 100% able to think straight. I think straight. But sometimes emotions get in the way when you drift. And drifting is very easy to do, you know, um, and that's why I keep myself busy. So, yeah. But this is a very good thing for people, for vets. It's in Tijuana, Mexico. It's 5 to 30 days, 6 to 15 beds, 5 years in business, substance use, alcohol, drug addiction, heroin, opioids. It heals. It stands by its word that it heals everything. So yeah, I can never go to Mexico. Shame, shame, shame. I don't want to go to Mexico no more, more, more. I'm just playing. That was a saying. That was actually a saying. A saying. Um, that we used to say as children. I didn't even understand it. I didn't know what it mean, but but yeah. So if y'all don't know by now, real quick, I have granuloma, um, a, a a tumor the size of a grain of salt in my brain. Now they say it's common, and um, I truly feel like this has made me a stronger person, because I still I move. I continue to move forward. I continue to move forward. Um, this whole episode has been about um, Donald Trump, and I apologize for going further than it, but the reason why I'm adding in that I have this is because I want y'all to know that, it's sometimes hard for me to do things, but I don't let that bother me. I I'm getting better every day at crafting my design and getting better at what I'm doing. Um, I owe that to everyone out there that watches me. I owe that to everyone out there that watches me, because if it wasn't for you guys, even the government, I would not sit up there and do this. I hate when the ticker get messed with. I hate when the ticker get messed with, and this ticker is still being messed with. I want to see 500 or above. But you know, every time I see that ticker goes up, I say to myself, I done something right to keep them entertained, and I hope it's educational. This isn't about whether, you know, I'm not trying to say that drugs is good for you or psychedelics is good for you. What I am saying is do your research on what you think, because what works for one person may not work for another person. I'm not promoting this on a government uh, hashtag, which I kind of am, and I hate that. All I'm saying is that I wanted to show y'all something that is new to me that I'm interested in, because nobody wants to be on paying like or on drugs for the rest of their lives. I don't care if it's something as small as Benadryl. Nobody wants to be on medications the rest of their lives. Nobody wants to sit up there and there's other avenues to treating depression, anxiety, and all the other mental health illnesses, and you know everything else, you know and if you have the money, I suggest that you research this, call down there, to all some of my hater Democrats that with money that watch the, show, call down there. Maybe you can get, your son, hold on. Okay. Maybe you can get your son or your child into the program. Maybe you can get your child or your son into the program. That goes to the Republicans too, because drug addiction is something that it is the new social norm. If we don't get it out of our country, it is the social norm. Somebody is on some sort of drug. It is the new social norm. And I think the only drug that anybody should ever be on that is legal, any alcohol, you know, at home, you know, marijuana at home, like, like not sit up there and do drugs and risk hurting somebody else in the streets, you know. Um, and those are legal in certain states, you know. And so I don't say I don't say that it's a good thing to, but I think that when you're under the influence, the police officers tell you to stay at home. They tell you not to drive. And it's a scary thing going out there on that road not knowing who is under the influence and who may ram into my car, or that's the scary thing. That's why I say at home, especially if you're uh, driving. it really disappointed me how they tried to pass a bill um, for the alcohol limit to, I don't know, go down or go up. I don't know the alcohol limits. I think the higher it is, the more alcohol intoxicated you are. Um, but they sat up there and did that, and it fell. But in Utah passed the bill. Like, I get it. Some people can handle being under the influence. I guess that's what you're saying. People can handle being a little under the influence, but it makes it harder for the police. Every day I'm on here watching the news. Every day. And it disappoints me, man. It disappoints me because it's like I'm watching the news and I see a car hit an officer. I see a car ram into an officer car. You know, that's the only thing I don't like, man. That's the only thing I don't like. I don't like the like. You don't hear Gavin Newsom saying, at Gavin Newsom's house, this took part. This happened. And helicopters flying past the house or something. Helicopters flying past the house to show exactly where he lived. Trump, we know he lives in Mar-a-Lago. We know where Mar-a-Lago is. And it's just, yeah. So I didn't mean to get on a rant of talking about, you know, Gavin Newsom or anything, but it just bothers me. It bothers me how people are dying, people are homeless, people are struggling between middle class and lower class. People are between middle class and lower class, struggling to get into that middle, climbing to get into that middle class. Like, seriously, they're climbing to get into that middle class. Some people don't see their finances going above 1 million. Some people don't see their finances going over 50 million. Some people don't see their finances going over 100 million. They're more in debt, paying bills and other things, and then they lose it all. I've had people on my show that actually said they lost $1 million. They were millionaires and they lost it all. When you're in debt and you have a business and you're not, whether you're doing the right things or not, it can happen. You mismanaged or you didn't mismanage. You paying more. I lost it all. I'm not perfect. I never said I was perfect, but that's what makes me me, and that's what makes y'all watch me, because y'all know I talk about um, things that are educational or documentary or politics. I never said I was perfect. I wasn't given this chance in the world to become perfect, given the environment that I've lived in, that I was born into. I don't blame it. I'm not blaming nobody. I'm not blaming nobody. I blame from here on out, you know, whatever happens is on me. And it's been from here on out. Whatever happens is on me. I'm not living with nobody. I'm single. Whatever happens is on me. And that's why I want to run, because I feel like I have a lot to give to young adults. The knowledge that I sat up there and taken in. Like I've and adults like 20 to 35. Do you want a politician that has been born, and I'm not talking about Trump, exclude Trump for a second, born into something where they have the money to get themselves into something because they want to do it as a hobby or because they want to be on camera, and they like the camera time, you know, and they went to preppy schools, sort of like Jasmine Crockett, and, you know, now they're using the House of Representatives as a image, a ghetto image, like just disrespecting everywhere. You know, she said F Elon Musk. I know Donald Trump and Elon Musk don't get along, but she said F Elon Musk, like at least have some, like I don't, just because you're allowed to say it, maybe every once in a while, but when you're saying it all the time, you know, and you're dancing in the halls of the Capitol, like how would how would you feel if it's just not right? It's just not right. You don't see anybody else doing this except Jasmine Crockett. Talking about Byron Donalds because he has a white woman as a wife, you know, it's just not right. And I feel like, you know, I don't want to give my opinion on a seat and, part, but you, if there is grounds to lose your seat in Texas because of your behavior, then you haven't done nothing for me. Even if we were in Texas, you wouldn't do nothing for me. You would laugh at me. You would laugh at everything about me, my life, because you lived a better life and you think you're better than people like me. You're turning the Capitol into a circus. And you have your Circus Olay. group. And let's not forget about Bernie. He's in the group too. Take care, y'all.
Never waste my time, you are I want.